Obedience, the life that flows from fulfillment. There is a question that quietly sits beneath much of our walk. What does obedience really look like now? For many, it has been shaped by fear, pressure, or the constant sense of falling short. But when we look closely at what has been accomplished, a different picture begins to emerge, one not driven by striving, but by identity. Obedience is no longer about climbing toward acceptance. It is the expression of a life that has already been brought near, a finished foundation. There was a time when obedience was tied to external commands engraved on stone, reinforced by distance between humanity and God. The law defined righteousness, but could not produce it within. It demanded, but did not empower. Now, everything has shifted. What was once required from the outside has been fulfilled and established on the inside. The standard has not been lowered, it has been completed. And because it has been completed, it has also been imparted. Obedience, then, is no longer the attempt to become righteous. It is the manifestation of righteousness already given. From obligation to nature. If obedience is still seen as obligation, it will always feel heavy. But if it is understood as nature, it becomes as natural as breathing. A tree does not struggle to bear fruit, it simply produces according to what it is. In the same way, the life placed within now produces what the law once demanded: love, righteousness, faithfulness. These are no longer external requirements, but internal realities expressing themselves. This changes everything. Instead of asking, "What must I do to be accepted?" the question becomes, "What does this new life within me look like when it is lived out?" The end of distance obedience is often tied to the idea of drawing closer, as if distance still remains. But distance has already been removed. The separation that once defined the relationship has been dealt with completely. There is no longer a gap to close. So obedience is not movement toward God, it is living from union with Him. When this is understood, fear loses its grip. There is no longer a need to perform to maintain standing. What remains is freedom, the kind that expresses itself through love. Love as the fulfillment. At its core, obedience has always pointed to one thing: love. Not a forced or measured love, but one that flows naturally from a transformed heart. When love is present, obedience is not something separate. It is simply love in action. Patience with others, forgiveness when wronged, kindness without expectation, integrity when no one is watching. These are not checkboxes, they are evidence of life. Walking it out. This does not mean there are no choices to be made. It means choices are no longer made from pressure, but from alignment with who you already are. When actions don't match that identity, it's not a failure of effort, it's a forgetting of truth. And the answer is not more striving, but a return to seeing clearly. Because what you behold, you become aware of, and what you become aware of, you begin to walk in. A different kind of obedience. So obedience is no longer about trying harder, earning approval, avoiding punishment. It is about living from completion, expressing what has been placed within, walking in the reality that has already been established. It is not the root of your relationship, it is the fruit of it. Closing thought. Obedience is not the pathway to life. It is the evidence that life is already present. And when that truth settles deeply, what once felt like burden becomes freedom. Freedom that naturally expresses itself in a life that reflects the one who made it whole.